All right, folks. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm gonna move my microphone into like a more advantageous position for y'all to hear me, I suppose. What is up, Kino Corner? Anyone watching should go subscribe to him. Alright, let's dial down the volume a little bit. Let's have some background music. So, what I thought might be fun is just a little draw stream. We'll draw some maps because I said I would do this, and then then I didn't do that. So hopefully y'all can kind of see me. Oh no, you can't see me because the microphone's in the way. Let's move that over there. Now I really need it like, here, we'll do it. Can this boom reach far enough? That's the real question. I'm not used to like being oriented towards my third monitor here. But this is where I do my drawing, so if you want to see what I'm doing here. So I have the pen display down here on like a big desk surface. So I can sit here, like I'm actually at a drafting table and actually, work. Let's undo that. I have a text tool, so I might try experimenting with text. What am I working with today? Well, I am working with Clip Studio Paint, actually, which you can get the Pro. This is funny. They have a Pro version. The Pro version's $50, which to me is very reasonable. The EX version is like $220, which is like way more. So when you see it, you're like, oh, the EX might be the cheaper version. So you click that one. It's like, no, that's the $250 version, and it's basically the same, but they just cut some features out of the Pro version for like animation and I think some stuff like that. So it's anyway, that's what you're dealing with here. Anyway, so here's the map for the new Moonsong book 3, which have taken basically more than a year longer than I wanted to come out with. That happens sometimes. I had a lot going on last year, and around this time, or a little bit after this time, we had my mother-in-law die pretty unexpectedly, as far as those things went, and it kind of threw all the scheduling off. And then the year before that, I had a bunch of stuff planned for the summer, and basically I got COVID and missed a bunch of deadlines, and then ended up into the fall where I had to just like rethink everything I was doing because I just didn't have time to do it. So I ended up putting out different stuff. Like starting in the fall. This is how I do a lot of the maps now. I did the last few in Photoshop, but I like to do them in this program now. I've been working with it for, I don't know, a little while, and since I got this pen display, it's definitely a good program to work in from my point of view. Because it's more like drawing on paper. I'm down here, I can sit here and draw things like I'm drawing on paper. It's a little bit better than using like the little pen, the pen tablet or whatever that we do here. I used to stream at this time on Wednesdays all the time. I might try to bring that back, just depending on how scheduling goes. Like I just have not had a lot of time to work. Things have been really bad. Oh, yeah, I think I was drawing this forest down here, so let's keep working on this guy. So drawing forests is, you just kind of draw the perspective of the trees. And I might try like working a little bit with color this time. You guys let me know if like the music's too loud or something. Yeah, I have my reading glasses on. These are like ancient, and like I really need new glasses because these are just chewed up. My wife always laughs, like, I don't know what your glasses are made out of. They're like indestructible. I dropped them, the kids have smashed them, broken the lenses out of them, somehow put them back together, and they keep working. Yeah, but these are my reading glasses because I'm working up close and I really need to see a lot of detail. Problem is that they're getting so scratched up I can't like accurately see what I'm doing sometimes. so it gets to be a little bit, not the best. So I need some new reading glasses. One of these days, I'm gonna get them. Put some more trees in here. So I'm drawing a little forest down here. This little forest doesn't actually have anything to do with the story. The story actually takes place entirely in one city up here, up in this delta called Golis. And I just wanted to draw like a regional map to give people an idea of like where they're going and why. And I didn't really include like a whole world map in the previous one. So I might do a collected edition of these where like I collect, the first 3 or, the first 3 of these, which are really make up like the first trilogy of the books. So the story kind of comes to like a pretty good, I'm not going to say a conclusion, but like a good resting point where the story ends for this book. And I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. I'm not sure exactly what the title of the story is going to be, of the book. It's not a lens cleaning cloth. Yeah, I mean, replacing the lenses means getting new glasses. The value is not the frames. Like, who cares about the frames? I know maybe some people spend money on frames. I don't know. You get like expensive frames. But like, yeah, the lenses. I don't even know what my prescription is anymore. So I have to go to the eye doctor and figure out my prescription and get all that kind of crap done, which I don't really want to do. I'm busy. I can barely keep up with stuff as it is. So anyway, there's some forests. I figured I might try some color because I did some experimentation actually with I'm going to link it. I'm going to put it down here. Let's see if oh, here it is. So I made a map that you can buy as an NFT if you are into buying NFTs. This is called the Wacom 1. It's a really pretty inexpensive Wacom tablet, but it's actually very good for what it is. I would actually recommend it. The only thing that's a little weird about it is that it runs off of a USB-C, but you can't just like plug it into a USB-C of a device. You have to do this whole weird octopus setup where coming out of this is an HDMI and then like a USB that powers it and a USB that plugs into the USB port of your computer or your tablet or your laptop or whatever. Now it works with my Android phone like flawlessly. You okay, honey bun? My dog. It works with my Android phone flawlessly. But I have to do this weird setup where I have to plug it into 3 different things. And the power plug for it, it's just a USB power plug. You can plug it into any charger. It doesn't work good for like my laptop because it's this big chunky thing. It's like this thick. It's like an inch wide. So if you plug it into your USB port of your laptop is like sitting crooked on it. So I can't power the device. I want to power it like pretty simply. Like it feels more complex than it needs to be. I just put it that way. Put another little swamp thing up there. So I don't know. I put in most of the details already. I already drew all of the mountains here, which you guys can see. I already have videos on like how to do a lot of this stuff. The only thing that's different from a lot of the other maps I did is I put in a couple of forests just to kind of balance out what's going on here. Now, if you want to know, if you read my books, this might be familiar, and I'll go ahead and turn on this layer down here. So I started with the map from Water of Awakening, which you can get. And I just did a couple things because the gap between the shore here and these mountains was too wide. This is supposed to be pretty much like not really passable up here because the characters in the next trilogy go over these mountains and up into this country up here. So I had to adjust to some of the geography. But it's more or less like if I start turning off the details, we go down, there's the original map that I drew on a piece of paper with all the gray ink, just like I did it, at this point, 4.5 years ago. And then I just used that as a starting point and redrew everything. And I think this one looks already just like way more refined and better and just cleaner look. So that's what it is. Yeah, I was thinking about drawing a city map, so that was probably the next thing I was going to do. You know, I'm from Slovakia. Hello. So that's that. Yeah, unfortunately, like I need new glasses, but it's okay. All right, so this one I think is okay. Why don't we have some fun and we can experiment a little bit with colors. This is part of me learning this program, so if I go slow, that's why. Is because I want to learn to do those colors. Now I'm going to put all of my, just so you can see some of the other layers I did. Like this is a sketch layer where I just kind of decided where things are generally going to be. I have like another layer where I was just like drawing ideas for like what stuff is going to be, you know. So I did a couple layers like that, and there's the original map. So I'm going to come down here, and let's add a new raster layer. If we want to do color, and I just kind of wanted to experiment with color, it's not that hard to do color. I generally, I did it on this other map, which I can probably just show here. Let's just take a look at it. No. It's over on Rarible. Someone wants to buy an NFT of it. I just did it for fun to experiment with this program. So it looks like this. Okay. And all I did here was I started with some flats. I started with two colors of flats, one kind of green and one blue for the ocean. And then I just like used the airbrush tool to shade in some parts to produce, you know, some different colors. But at the heart of it, it's the same sort of black and white map as what I'm doing here for this. Is Needle Ash the sequel to Water of Awakening? Yes. And then book 3 for that series will be coming out hopefully this year. I got to finish that one up, so we'll have some more characters that come. So there's not that many characters from the first book in the second book. The characters from the first book are more present in the third book, but each book really has a separate protagonist and antagonist, a different story. And there's reasons that I do that, and one of the big reasons is that it's really easy to get bogged down in just soap opera, and I don't like that. I want each book to have its own life and have its own character and its own plot and its own resolution and all those sorts of things. So, you know, for this one, let's come up with a good color that we like the ocean to start as, and we can just do that there. I think if we keep tapping, it'll, no, maybe not. There we go. Actually, one thing I can do here, because it's referring to the layers above it, we'll just undo that, and I think I can just turn off the waves. There we go. There we go, and then we can turn the waves back on. All right, there we go. So now we have the ocean, and then for the land, we can probably do some of the same thing, right? We can turn off all the details and just kind of have the land here. I realize I drew these forests, like I drew some of these in the wrong layer, and that's unfortunate. But you know, you end up with that. So if we can just come down here, we can just pick something like a kind of a neutral green here, and then we'll just color in the islands. Oops. This is probably making this island too big. Let's undo that. Can we put... there we go. This is going to make it better. There we go. Might be too green. I could use like a filter to change it. I think I'm just gonna pull it more to yellow here. Yeah, that's a little closer. These seem really bright, but like they're gonna look a lot more mellow once we start shading, and we can also turn down the transparency on them to really like dial in what we want. Let's get a little closer in here. Listening to myself play lute in the background's a little weird. I might put on like a video game playlist, soundtrack playlist or something, just to get these trees. Unfortunately, these were drawn in the base layer because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Should have made the flat process much easier. But and see what's cool about this is that like if I don't want the colors or don't want to use them, I can literally just turn off those layers, and it's really easy to do. Paint. Listen to myself play lute. Because I don't get copyright claims for my own stuff. Actually, that's not true. I've gotten copyright claims for my own music before, which is really stupid. But it's because I had to use a distributor to get some of it on like streaming services. And then the distributor copyright claims it, and then suddenly you can't have your own music on your own stuff. I think there's still like a Winter Sun video out there that's just silent because their record company copyright claimed the music. And they wouldn't release it ever. So it's just, there's a silent video of them playing live, the band playing live. It's kind of dumb to do this, but unfortunately, yeah, I put it all in the wrong layer. Whoops. Should get like a little, like put the camera here. You can see all my kids like homeschooling stuff if I put the camera here rather than there. Do you use the smear glove? I like it, but it gets sweaty. No, I don't. Now, this is actually something that I like about this particular display is it's kind of got a matte. It's not as slick as the other pen displays I've used. It's not as like slippery. It doesn't feel like glass, which I like. It feels, I don't know. Some people like different feels. It's a kind of has that I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is. Like a non-reflective coating almost. If I start turning on these other layers, what are we gonna see? Yeah, let's undo some of this stuff. There we go. There we go. A little more work doing the flat colors than I like. But we're gonna try to do some other stuff in here too that might be fun. And see if I put this other forest. Alright, that looks good. Now from here we can actually like shade some stuff. Should have done those as 2 layers. Yeah. So what we'll probably do here is the layer. Go to new raster layer. So in this layer now we can do like just some airbrushing. So if I want the forest to be kind of darker green, I just kind of pull this green down here, and we can let's turn the brush size down. That's a little too big. Let's turn it up. Here we go. And we just kind of color color some forests here, like whatever it is. And if we want to, so it just kind of indicates, hey, this is all like forest. And this is all marsh. Like we could, turn on our other layers here so we can see everything really clearly. Since this is all, marsh over here, we could color that gray. Like just pull that into gray. Just kind of color, gray. And if I like that, let's go back to green. We maybe want a little darker green in there. That's too gray. Pull that up here. kind of color some darker green in there. And if we don't like, if we feel like it's too much, we can just kind of pull off the side. What is that? It's kind of doing gray over here. Get some gray going, gray and grayish brown. And really, these are not like completely marshy marshes. They're pretty much a bright green here, so we can a nice green delta area. You get like some good, gradients, good kind of colors around here. Over here is going to be a wasteland, so I really probably want this one to be like pretty gray, and we can just kind of color gray in there. So and this is all going to be like gray down here. I'm going to crank up the size of that brush, and let's crank it up to, that's too big. Let's try about 231. Just kind of do it like this. This is where like the Fey wastes were in Water of Awakening. You just kind of put a lot of gray here. At the end of this, you can soften all these colors by like just dialing down transparency and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. And also, if you don't like it, you can erase it too if you want. My eraser's not quite set up for airbrushing. I'm gonna have this. This is going to be basically empty, the empty lands. You still listen to Ghost or Ghost BC? One day I load up my playlist and all of the videos from the band's official channel removed due to copyright claims of the holder, Warner Brothers, their own publisher. There you go. Fantasy worlds always seem to feel larger than sci-fi ones. I wonder if it's because it's more human scale to look at a map over a star chart. That could be it. I just think it's probably the style of sci-fi stories as well. Sci-fi stories, especially if you're depending on like what era you're really looking at. You could be dealing with a problem where, how should I put it? The story is just not very focused on people. The story is very focused on, something else. The science of it. How the science affects people. And that's fine, Oops, the camera's shaking. Every time I bump the desk, the desk leg, it makes my monitor's on kind of it's a big monitor on a stand. So it's a little funny. Another thing I like to do here, I like to get kind of a bright green. Really bright green. Yeah, pups? And then, like rivers are green. Rivers are like where it's very green. I like to paint some green on the rivers like this. And make forest like maybe an even richer green. It's hard to find like that perfect forest green color to do. We'll try it like this. A little closer to what I want. Do this nice bright green again. I'm not using even a color history because I don't really care about that with airbrushes. I just kind of want it to be what it is. Did mom and the kids get home, little one? You gotta go. Do you need to go out and check? Just kind of paint the river valleys, kind of a bright green there. So I think that'll look cool. I'm gonna paint the forest again, the darker green. Forest green. It's like dark green. Go back up here. I think this. So it just gives it a little more life to what you're doing here. I need to paint these blue in here too. I just realized the lakes need to be blue. Let's go back here. Let's do the eyedropper tool. I am going to grab this for it. There we go. So I got some water in the middle of this. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, over here. Some more water in there. I think this is the first song I recorded for this album. Yeah, space operas are more focused on the people. You're right, Jared. Yeah, they're more focused on the characters in the story. All right, I'll let you know. All right, go check it out. Hello? Hello? Is my family home? I don't think they're home. Take them. Mom went to go take them shopping. Whoa. All right, there we go. Yeah, space operas are more, you know, they're more about the people, which I appreciate. Okay. Oh yeah, let's grab this green again, and grab our airbrush. Just kind of, you know. I imagine this is like a super fertile area right here, because all of this is like mountains, and up here is like all snow. This is like the northernmost country in this entire land here. And in some cases we may, you know, we can do an eraser here. I'm going to set up like a really soft eraser here. That's maybe 100, like this, and then we'll do soft. And like if you know, if I want to take some away, it's really pretty easy. And you just kind of take away the colors if I want. It's good. Like this, you know. May want to, and then I can actually do this too. Like I can just kind of paint with green, kind of lightly, if I want to. And if I like, oh, I want to erase some of that, I just hold down the right click and erase it. I love working with this thing. It's so much fun. This is a very fertile area, I imagine, so I paint it kind of green. Really, there we go. You know, kind of paint some green areas here. And then we can shade the mountains too. And if I want to get it really good here, we'll just do it on like yet another layer. Get it over here in like a brown, and then we can color the mountains. And I may want to change this color of them. I think I'm actually going to make these ones like pretty white here, kind of gray. And I may paint them like white in the middle. I'll start with some gray. This is a background color. Came up with some cool geographic names. I like that. It's thrown out the window because it's convenient. Yeah, it's fun to have like some kind of thing for that though. I usually draw the map last, even though this map is technically very old. You know, it's several years old as far as the geography goes. But I tend to do it kind of last. That way I can adjust geography for my story if I want to. I'm going to do white here. See? Just kind of paint some white. These are called the Frostback Mountains, so you definitely want to like paint some frost up in here, you know? These are kind of snowy mountains. And then we can go back here and do brown, like kind of on the outside, you know? Like that last one. Paint And these ones are really like a more brown kind of mountain. I'm going to push it into the gray area here, I think. Mountains to me are not just like brown. They're like a, grayish color. That's really how I think of them. They're made of rock. Maybe it's because I live in California and our mountains here are granite, There it is. So anyway, I feel like the workflow with this program is very fast and very efficient, which is great. Like, I want things that are efficient and easy to work with, not things which are difficult to work with, not things which fight me. And I have to Photoshop is a very versatile program. It's a very powerful program, but it's one that I often feel like I have to fight to get it to be the way that I want it to be. Definitely, you can get a lot out of Photoshop. Now, what's great about this program too is you can output just in Photoshop format if you want, and then that's means I can just take this and put it into Photoshop for like the text or something else like that. Just finish the Wasting Desert. Pretty good. Is there going to be a continuation? Definitely. So that party's going to have several adventures in the Dryson Empire and discover some cool things. So I'm looking forward to it, actually. Let's do some gray. Just lightly shade some gray in here. Wherever I feel like the mountains themselves, I like some gray on them. Just kind of get some gray in. So you don't feel like they're completely, brown. And then we can even do some white here, like right here. Because they're kind of snowy. There's some passes. I could put the passes from Water of Awakening on here too. There's some different passes that they go through in order to get over to this area. And I like the white, so I'm actually going to put a little bit more white in a couple places here. I want it to look very white in some places. Let's shrink that brush size down a bit. A little too small. Let's do about this. And then we can do some gray around here. Like that. A little more gray, so it feels like there's white peaks. Not simply like white slopes, but like, I don't know, white peaks. Go back to white and put in some peaks. You can really build up like a bright white right here too. See? Really nice, bright, high contrast areas. So it really looks pretty bright like that. I'm going to put a couple bright spots down here. Starting to like the way that looks. Put this one up here. This little mountain range. Again, the coloring is really just for fun. It's not like not anything like that I care too much about. Because I'm going to ship the book with the black and white one for the actual physical book, which is really where my focus is. It focuses on the physical book, not the ebook. I know everybody, like the zeitgeist forever has been like, yeah, it has to be ebook. I sell more paperbacks really than I do ebooks. So for me, like, focusing on the ebook is kind of backwards. The ebook is easy. You just like make an ebook out of your paperback. Does leaving reviews and ratings on Amazon and Goodreads help or not really? On Amazon, for sure. I don't know about Goodreads because I don't really interact with the site that much. Any reviews are just very positive ones. I mean, it doesn't matter. Reviews are they're what's called social proof. So whenever you're selling something, you have to think about how you're going to make the sale. So the first thing that you usually want is you need a product that somebody likes and a reason for them to buy it. That's the first thing. So for a book, you have a couple layers. First one is the cover. The cover is your first sell. You have to sell your book with your cover. And if you're selling your book with your cover, that's going to do just a ridiculous amount of work for you. Okay? Make this a little more yellow. Really color down here. These edges. That's really what we want. Let's go back to this green. So you do the cover. That's shows something somebody wants to see, like some kind of fantasy thing, whatever genre you're in. So you communicate the genre, and your title is also going to cue into that. And that somebody sees that and says, well, maybe that's something I want to read. They click on it. Then you have your description. That's part 2. That's your blurb. That's telling them what they can expect out of the story. And then part 3 is the social proof. And this will work with any product. Does the product visually look like something they want? When you describe it, does it describe like something that they need and that they want? And then the third one is, do other people already like and approve of this product? And if the answer is, yes, then you have a good chance of selling the product. Reviews are by far the hardest thing to get on Amazon. By far. If you can get reviews, the reviews are going to sell the book more than anything else. Really, more than anything else is reviews. So, yeah, reviews are huge because what you're really signaling is that the other people like this. I can trust that this exists, that it's not some scam, and this works for any other product as well. You want people to feel like that what you're selling them is actually not a scam. Let's use a slightly bigger brush. 70. I like it's a little too dark. So I should put that in a new layer. That way I can adjust all of these things separately. I kind of want it a little more like this. Slightly purple. I want the edges to be pretty dark here. That way I can kind of turn down the opacity later if I want to. And there we go. Then on the edges here, I'll see if I can. This might be hard to do, but we'll see if I can do it. We'll get like a turquoise color here, something that's like really kind of bright, and then we can kind of paint that in all the shallows here to kind of lighten it up. The problem is it'll start to show through the land, so I'm hoping we can mask it out after the fact. And if we can't, then that's okay. We'll figure it out from there. Okay, so we have some like kind of almost greenish colors. Then what I should be able to do here is with this selection pin. Let's see. No, we don't want to do that. Is there a smart select? Rather than a lasso. The smart select is really what we want for all layers. Add more. Actually, let's do it like this. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see what it does there. No, I think this is so complex it's going to be hard to mask. So I may not be able to go this close to the shore with like a highlighting thing without getting in really big detail. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's actually turn that layer off. just turn this layer off. There it goes. It's we'll do the ocean with a different layer here. Of course, we could go to the flat layer and like brighten that up a little bit, but I'm gonna kind of do this kind of dark purple here. Just gonna gently fill it in. Get the edges really dark here. There you go. And then from here, we can do like a really soft eraser here too if we want to get stuff kind of out of the way. A little too much right here, you know. Soft eraser. Then let's paint something a little bit lighter here. That kind of turquoise color again. I liked that. Let me think. I want to do this. Fade that line a little bit. There we go. I'm getting some different shades in here. That'll be pretty good. And if we want to, you know, you can like erase it from the islands. Make sure that it doesn't kind of cover up the islands at all. Like a little bright layer there. Just kind of erase it from the islands. All right, that looks pretty good. So there's you know, there's some shading here. And one of the things we can do. Thoughts on the Witcher books? I've only really read the first one. I liked it. It's kind of a take on fairy tales, but kind of gross fairy tales. What do you think of modern writers? You can just stop right there. I just don't really care that much for modern writers. Now, if we want to soften the colors, see, this is really like a very saturated map. And this is almost unattractive. It's so saturated. It's like neon. But I do that on purpose so that we can actually start to turn down the flats, and you see then it takes on more of this kind of faded look. This comes like a more faded manila color. Let's put about 60%. And then for these other ones too, we can fade the, you know, fade the intensity of these to find that like perfect like balance, where we like the perfect amount of balance between all the layers. Fade that one a little bit too. See? And so that gives us like a really good balanced kind of color palette. I feel like the green's a little too intense. So we just dial the green down a bit. There you go. You know, you get some good colors. And if I want to paint more green, you know, I can paint some more of that bright green that I liked. If I feel like, oh, you know, there needs to be just more green on the map, you know, painting a little bit more right there, maybe more right there, just to kind of bring that up a bit more. Kind of around Greenfield over here. I definitely want some more green, because it's called Greenfield. Greenfield. More green would probably be good. Anyway, so there's some experimentation with colors. So we'll go ahead and save that. And if we want to take the colors off, I don't know, can I group these layers? Let's see here. I think I can. And we'll just call this the colors. And then we'll turn them off. They didn't disappear. Oh, none of these went into, I didn't put any of them into the, there we go. There we go, black and white, color. Black and white, color. Looks good. This is going to be like the empty lands down here. In fact, I could probably almost bleach these. In fact, I might do that. Might bleach these. Might make it like just white. Or like really kind of gray. Yeah, let's put in another one. And size this sucker up pretty big here, 600. Almost like it, just like it's not even on the map, you know. It's nothing. It's where the Phalanx used to be. Are there any modern writers you like? Tons, but most of them are independent writers. Right. What Old Pub really pushes, it's not the kind of stuff I like. You know, they push identity politics, kind of, you know what I'm talking about. There we go. All right. We'll save that. Now let's create a new one. Now I don't know. Maybe we should like experiment with some of the the text. One thing, I mean, you know, something I could do is I mean, we could hand do the text, for instance. I nearly need one for dots. Like, you need a layer for dots here. I was going to do all this in Photoshop. Because I haven't used the text at all in this one. There's a justify. I don't know if I can adjust the path of the text. Because I need a lot of curved text. Do you like Scott Lynch or Patrick Rothfuss? I intensely dislike Patrick Rothfuss as a human being and his writing. I think it's some of the worst writing I've ever read is Patrick Rothfuss. It's just intolerable. He's also really lazy and he won't finish his work. I never read Scott Lynch though. What are you using to draw? Is that an iPad? No. This is a Wacom 1 pen display. Works great. I've used it with my laptop. I've used it with my phone. I've done a bunch of different little sketches with my phone. Yeah, I don't know if there's... There's like skew... I don't know. We'll just experiment. Because I want to write... Goalies. Now, let's change the font. You don't want Tahoma. Well, that's a dumb font. TM Unicorn. I have so many fonts. I think the one I want is called Anaron. Here we go. Yeah, Anaron is what I usually use. And we'll make this red. There we go. Now, let's see here. Put this here. It might be just a lot easier to do this in Photoshop or Inkscape, where I can really adjust this a lot easier. Size. I have to highlight it probably. Let's go down to 24. Have a lot more control over what I'm doing. And then I can rotate it. I'm gonna make it curved is the question. I can skew it. So yeah, I think I'll probably have to do this in Photoshop, which is fine. What's wrong with Patrick? He's okay. Let's start with where do we want to complain about Patrick Rothfuss? His writing's extremely pretentious. And he doesn't he describes a character. This character quote, they like putting his lute in the sun for the strings to relax, which is ridiculous as a lute player. But, if we just look at his main character, Quoth, or whatever, I think it's Quoth, which he spells it dumb. Kvothe. Quoth or Quothy? I don't know. Anyway. It's like ultimate gamma writing. Like, he has this character that is super powerful, immediately, goes to like a mage college. He, has sex with an older woman, and it's the best she ever had. Like, it's just a laundry list. It's like a 14-year-old wrote it, in a really cringy kind of way. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to do the text. I think I'm going to do the text in Photoshop because I don't think I can. I don't think I can do what I want to with this. I don't know if I can like draw a. Selection area. Let's undo that. I don't think I can do a path, like put something on a path. Yeah. I think it's going to be probably too much work to do the text that I want to do in here. So I'm just going to leave that like that for now. Yeah, Pat writes with wish fulfillment fantasy for low status males and uses quote as a self-insert. He's just like him wishing that he was good at sex. And that's a super like low status male thing to think that somehow your special amazing technical skill at sex will impress women. Pretty much all of the impressing that's done to women happens before the sexual act begins. For women, the sexual act is a cumulative and emotional experience. It's not some pure physical one that is directed specifically towards some special apex of orgasm. All of that happens like prior to you actually engaging in sex. But men like to imagine that they're special at it because they watch pornography. And so like the more pornography they watch, the more warped their view of sex happens to be. And so when you read something like Patrick Rothfuss, you get the idea of a guy writing fantasy who watches porn nonstop and can't keep it out of his mind and has a bunch of dumb ideas about how sex actually works with a human female and just writes that into the book. What's surprising to me is so little women pick up on it. A lot of women pick up on it and they're like, this is really stupid and cringy and gross. A lot of women don't. There's like this whole cadre of, I don't know what to call them, like, I don't know, nerdy fantasy women who just don't seem to notice or object to that or think that it's awful or weird. But like, most sane women will see something like that and go, this is kind of gross. That he thinks that this is how all of this works. Yeah, it's a wish fulfillment fantasy. You can see it in something like American Pie, a movie like American Pie, where you have these virgins that are obsessed over how to do sex correctly. Rather than viewing sex as an intimate act between a male and a female that involves communication and emotion and all that other kind of stuff, they view it as like it's some sort of mechanical act because their masturbation to porn is a mechanical act. So he just puts that in the book. Here's this special mechanical act. He's so good at sex that the first time he does it, he amazes this older woman. But the reality is that wouldn't happen, mostly because the older woman would not find. If she was purely focused on the physical act, somebody doing it for the first time would, have like stage fright, or it would just not be good. Let's be real. What do you think? It's the defense that it's him, quote, telling his own tale so that he embellishes as an unreliable narrator. I think that's cope. Unreliable narrator is a technique where you make it uncertain that you specifically make it uncertain that something is true or not, right? You do that with intent. So there's times that you do that. This is not one of them. That's people trying to apologize for it after the fact, in my opinion. So no, I've never read the second book. I don't think the third one is ever coming out. What is going on here? My program hung up, I think. Uh-oh. Be nice if there's a little crash here. Oh, no, here it is. The dialogue popped up on the other monitor. That's why I'm confused. Let's switch those. I feel like drawing this city. I think I'm going to draw it rectangular and then just put it in the book kind of sideways. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, you have to turn the book, but I don't think I could properly draw the city like at the vertical arrangement because it's kind of like a wide city. Unless I did it sideways and like turned the compass. Let's go. So we'll do 3,000 by 2,000. That should be good. Should be fine for print. Yeah, it doesn't. There's a good point. Arcane Stock has. It doesn't change the fact that he makes the story insufferable. If the story's awful to read, it doesn't matter about the unreliable narrator. I did a video review of a book called Prince of Thorns. It's like this. It was like it was written by a 13-year-old with good prose writing skills. Like the character's insufferably ridiculous. Like he's making prostitutes orgasm. This is a particular fantasy of when you think about something like that. This person's fully engaged in the prostitution fantasy. He's paying a prostitute. He's a 13-year-old paying a prostitute. Get out of here. This 13-year-old is having sex with a prostitute and giving like the prostitute a great time. That's so stupid. It's like, what's the point of the the prostitute is there to like make you believe that, but that's not real, Thoughts on H.P. Lovecraft stories. I did a whole series on them. I need to pick it up this year and do it again. I kind of had to pause because I was in the middle of a bunch of other stuff. But I did a bunch of H.P. Lovecraft analysis, so you can find it on the video. All right. So first thing I'm going to do here, I think, what time is it? I probably need to call this soon. So I'm going to do like a little rough sketch and kind of go from there for what I'm thinking. And I need to find someone to ape, so I think I'm going to... let's find that one. Darujistan. Darujistan map. Let's find Steven Eriksson's map of Darujistan. Here it is. So let's look at that. So this is, I think, is a good one. I like to look at the way other people, other authors and other artists have done maps to give you an idea of like what kind of stuff is good to draw and what kind of stuff is not good to draw. So here's a map of Darujistan. Now this is from which one is this from? I think this is from the first Malazan book. This is from Gardens of the Moon. That's right. They're outside Darujistan, like trying to dig under the walls and stuff. Was it Darujistan or Pale? No, first they were under Pale, I think, and then Darujistan was what they were going to go to next. Yeah, too many old pub male authors or low status men like John Scalzi that never got over being bullied in their childhood or adolescence. Yeah. You ever read any Chinese web novels? No. All their main characters are psychopaths. Okay, interesting. I watched Pat Rothfuss on Critical Role D&D Snowflakes basically years ago and thought his character was really interesting. That was years ago. I'm sure my opinion now would be different. I think that's all he does now is like D&D streams. He doesn't write books. I mean, to be that guy basically won the lottery for who he is. He's a talentless writer who wrote bad books that, because of the random luck of the draw, which exists with everything, they became hits unexpectedly, basically with a weird cultivated fandom that he's still like insignificant compared to say like J.K. Rowling, but there's this random element to like explosive success. You don't have to be good at writing to be successful. That's something that I want to make abundantly clear is while I criticize him as a bad writer, you don't have to be good to be successful. So if you're wondering like, am I good enough to write a book? Yeah. If Patrick Rothfuss can shit out the books that he shit out and sell the copies he has, thousands and thousands of copies. You can too, right? If you've read Twilight, and I've done analysis on Twilight, I actually don't think Twilight's badly written. I think it's very well written for the target demographic, which is 12-year-old girls. You don't have to be good to be successful. So let's put that out of the way. He crapped out some wish fulfillment fantasy, got it published, got a bunch of people to read it and think that it was good, and he could basically live on those royalties and that success and use that to leverage and get money basically for the rest of his life to goof off and not do anything. Like he won the lottery basically and he'll never have to write that third book. Same thing, George R.R. Martin will never have to finish his series. He'll never have to write that third book because, why would he need to? He's set based on the roll of the dice before. In fact, it's almost worse to write it, because if you write it and it's bad, and then you'll have this reputation of having a bad series and people won't read it. I think that's why George R.R. Martin, if I were him, I don't know if I would release the last book. Why would you? There's no good outcome unless it's like the best book you've ever written. I liked Cruppa, yeah. The missing element to me is like a clear sense of purpose to the narrative. It's never quite clear what's at stake or what's being done, why the gods are doing what they're doing. It's too hidden. I still like it a lot, but that's the main reason that it's versus Lord of the Rings or Wheel of Time, where you feel like there's this, things are going towards this ending, and that's where you want to go with this. So anyway, here's Darujhistan. I like that he drew the wall like this, so we can draw a wall. He drew some shading for like these hills. And then we have, some words put along the roads here. We have some roads. And, some inset here. So, and then like a lighthouse. So we can use that just kind of as a guide to start with. The next book won't even be the last in the series for A Song of Ice and Fire. I've heard that opinion too, that the third one's a better introduction or the second one's a better introduction. My favorite is the second one and the sixth one, believe it or not. So 2 and 6 are my favorites. It was really hard to keep reading the series after number 6 because it felt so bad by comparison. Number 6 was so good. I think that one, what was that one called? It has almost nothing to do with anything. It's just like a one-off book that's just in a completely different part of the world. It's really bizarre. All right, I like to kind of sketch in blue with a pencil tool. So there's two, if we look here, there's 2 rivers that come in. Golis is right here in the middle of these 2 rivers. So we're gonna let's see if we could draw those. We're gonna draw like a coastline here, maybe with a channel island out there. So we'll do like we'll do the island up here somewhere, and we have a coastline here, and then there's some, there's a large river. And here's the second river. This is the main body of the rivers. And the town is kind of in between, And so the castle, there's a castle up here. So I'm going to put the castle, just like draw. That's an awful looking tower. Hear my dog barking. So I'm just going to put that there, that I'm going to draw like a castle. So there's the castle. It's up on the cliffs, and this is like, the cliffs. And this is, I'm going to write this like kind of small here. High town. So I'll kind of have this. And then I can draw some like roads, I'm not sure how detailed I want to be with roads. I may just kind of do what he did, which is like have it mostly be black with a couple of standout roads. Bone Hunters it's the one before Bone Hunters. Let me look it up. I don't like Bone Hunters very much, actually. Let's see the list. I just can't remember the name. Midnight Tides. I'm sorry, number 5. Number 5, Midnight Tides. Midnight Tides is really good. Bone Hunters is not very... It's okay. I don't like it that much. So my favorites are probably Dead House Gates, Midnight Tides. After that, Gardens of the Moon and Memories of Ice. House of Chains is okay. That's actually no. I like House of Chains has what's his face? The Trell, not the Trell. Is he a Trell? What is he? Yeah, House of Chains is good. Who am I thinking of? Karsa Erlong. He's a really fun anti-hero kind of evil character, so I have a lot of fun with him. All right, so here's the two rivers. The the old wall is going to be somewhere down here, and I may shrink these, because by the time they go through the town, they're quite narrow, because we have lots of canals in this town. This is kind of almost like an Amsterdam-like town, but like kind of Viking Amsterdam. I don't know how to put it any other way. So the obviously the wall is going to go around here, like this. Okay, and then we're going to have some hamlets and a wall that goes like this. There's going to be the port is going to be over here. So like docks. This is the port, and then there's lots of canals that run through here, and then up over this way. So canals that run up over here. So I'll have like a main canalway that runs here, with canals coming here, and a main canalway that runs over here, with canals coming here, and then canals like this. So there's a couple of different like canal exits. And that might be good here. And this is all like kind of marshy farmland, down here somewhere. So we have some different canals that run like this. So we can do that. Hightown doesn't really have that because it is, it's up high. It's up on a cliff. So there's cliffs here. Let's put that here. And then there's the caves, which is how they sneak in through the caves during low tide. So they come from here, and they sneak in, and then so they come here, and then there's they come down here, and here's the bar, and so then I could put like a little key over here. Here's Tucker's Den, and then here's the other place they go, and here's the here's the boat shop down here. Actually, the boat shop should be down over here, I think. Here's the boat shop where they go, the mill, something like that. So maybe they, we have these different places that we go through here, and we can figure out how to draw cliffs, like how to shade cliffs, and we can shade some hills here or shade some marshes if we want to. And that'll be a good little sketch of what we're doing. Which Final Fantasy ports do you play on the Vita? Okay, great question. All of them, the first 10, can be played on the Vita. So, take a pause. Place the original Final Fantasy. You can play as part of Final Fantasy Origins, which is the PS1 version. You have the PSP version of Final Fantasy II. You have the PSP version of Final Fantasy III, which is a port of the Nintendo DS version for the Nintendo DS. Then you have the PSP version of Final Fantasy IV, which is going to be aesthetically really similar to the Pixel remaster if you're looking at that one for Steam. And I recommend that version. It's very good. It's based on the Japanese version, so it's pretty much the mechanics from the Japanese version, but it's not the DS 3D remake. Though I think you could find a way to play that on I don't know if you can play that on the Vita or not. But anyway, so that Final Fantasy IV is a PSP exclusive version. It's really good. Final Fantasy V, the PS1 version, is what I have. But it runs through Adrenaline perfectly. You just rip your disc and you can use a third party. I'm trying to remember the third party program, but you can do it that way. Or you can buy the PS1 classics off the PlayStation Store. I think it was like $5 or $10. So there's Final Fantasy V. That's the PS1 version. Final Fantasy VI, I have the PS1 version as well, but I play the Super Nintendo version because I like the Super Nintendo version better, and you play that through RetroArch. Final Fantasy VII, you can play the PS1 version. Again, it's a PS1 Classics. You can buy off the PlayStation Store for that or PS3. And I don't know which version of Final Fantasy VII is the best. Probably that original PlayStation 1 one. But you're going to be missing some, if you buy the PC version, you can replace the graphics and pump it up and really make it look nice. This is just the PS1 version. The Final Fantasy VIII, you can also buy the PS1 Classics. Final Fantasy IX, you can buy the PS1 Classics version. Final Fantasy X is the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster, the PlayStation Vita version, which has cross-save compatibility with the PS4 version and the PS3 version, in case you have all those different versions. I have the version for PS4 as well, so that's convenient, and Final Fantasy X too. So you can play all the first 10 on the Vita in a bunch of different versions, but those are the versions that I play on the Vita. After that, it gets a little more complicated. Final Fantasy XI, you can't play on the Vita unless you were to stream it from a PS3 or something. But that version doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know if it ever came out for PS3. I know it came out for Xbox 360. So Final Fantasy XI, I think, is the only one that you actually can't in some way play on the Vita. Final Fantasy XII, can you play that on the Vita? Well, you can play the Zodiac Age and stream it to your Vita from your PS4. You can also play Final Fantasy 13 by streaming it from your PS3. And 13.2 and 13.3 from the PS3. Because it'll stream from the PS3 and the PS4. Pretty cool. And Final Fantasy 14 Online, you can stream from your PS4, so you can play that on the Vita as well. And in fact, I have some footage of me playing Final Fantasy 14 on the PlayStation Vita. It's quite playable, believe it or not. The text is kind of hard to read because it's a 540p screen, but it's pretty playable. It's as playable as the PS4 version. The graphics are not that great. I think it looks great on my PS5, but I can't stream to my Vita from my PS5. At least they haven't unlocked that, and I doubt they ever will. You could stream it to your phone from the PS5, and that works good. And Final Fantasy 15, again, you could stream it from your PS4. So there you go. So the only one that you technically can't play on the Vita in any form that I'm aware of is Final Fantasy 11, unless somebody figures out a way to do Steam streaming or something from your PC to your PlayStation Vita. Anyway, what cool fantasy name would you put to this land? I don't know. This is the city of Golis. The whole continent's called Dideron, is what I call it. So anyway, here's my rough sketch of what it should look like. I might refer back to, kind of running out of time here. I felt like it might be fun to just chat with y'all. So I kind of like the way he does this. Let's see if I can, let's just look a little bit closer here. It's pretty good here. So maybe we'll do it like this. We can. I kind of like this. This looks cool. And I've got these main streets, Lakefront District. I have to think of some names for some of these areas. But I kind of like this wandering thing. I'm going to do canals that way. Yeah, I just kind of like it shaded in. It looks kind of good shaded in here. So maybe I'll copy that idea. I've never drawn a city before, but look, he even put the cemetery out there. Put the cemetery. I like this kind of thing because it feels like somewhere that you could have a D&D campaign or something. It's kind of cool. I'm be setting up a PSP with games this week. I'll use the PSP versions for the ports it has natively. Use PS1 versions for the rest. Love the retrofits. Thank you. So yeah, I like the PSP is great. What's cool about the PlayStation Vita, where is my Vita? If you hack it, it's just a great system. I could stream it. You could plug it in and it runs as like a webcam, so I can stream it into my PC if I want. Like here's Final Fantasy VI on there. But you can run the PS1 version of Final Fantasy VI. The only problem with that is that there's loading screens. So there's loading screens between the battles, which can just kind of slow things down a little bit. And it's got a different script from the Super Nintendo version. I just wanted to play the Super Nintendo version for stream. That's going to be my excuse for bad dungeon runs when I play 14. I'm streaming it to my Vita. I'm on Zalera server, by the way. So Sturanta is my account name. You can find me there and just hang out and play with me. I'm always happy to like add friends and play with people I know. So you could just look up. That's the account name, I think. So that should find me. So yeah, I'm on the Zalera server. If anybody wants to play with me. Okay, so what we could do here is draw like a little. We'll do a new layer. I may want to move this. I think I'm going to move this castle to like right here because the castle has its own like docks right here. Let's undo that. So the castle has its own docks right here, and the caves come out right here, and there's like a big. I want like a big channel here, where things come out. So there's like a bunch of little. There's like a secret entrance basically that they use. Use the smuggling way. I play on Gilgamesh in Aether. Gilgamesh. He's a really funny character. If you're not playing the Hildebrand quests, once you get 50, you got to do all the Hildebrand quests because they're very funny. There's some of the best story writing I've seen in the game is the Hildebrand quest, just because they're funny. They take the time to make it like really, I don't know, like really funny. That's the best way I can put it. And this is all going to be like this. And maybe we can even put some small channel islands like this out here. And then we have this big one. And we'll make it like that, kind of go off the screen a little bit. And, yeah. I don't know. Let's start inking and see where we go with it. I like to use a mapping pen, and for like coastlines and stuff, I like to start with 12. So I'm going to start with 12 just to do the big stuff here. And we'll do something like this. And I'm doing it in blue. I want it in black. Paint it black. Go. Something like that. And because this is like a wide delta, there's probably, some various streams coming in like this. And like this. Maybe there's another aqueduct kind of coming in here and going out to pass here like that, washing out into like a big big way here. And then this one can kind of come out here. So I do it like this. And then of course we can have more, like a more of a winding kind of canal. Like that. Like that. You know, Tolkien didn't really draw like city maps and stuff like that, because most of his stuff was taking place like well outside of a city, you know. There's our kind of our canal network here, and for here we can put something there, that, and we can have another canal kind of running out here like that. And of course we maybe want a couple of other like little cross channels here. Just kind of connects everything. Like this. So we have like a nice little canal network. Looks like kind of, you know, a little more organic. It's not kind of set. It's not quite designed. You know. So we get like lots of different things that way. So that's a good, kind of a good place to start, I think, for this little map. I'm going to connect these up, and we can always like erase later if we want to. They'd have to paint over the poop stains on the castle wall. No, whitewash was a basically a kind of white pigment suspended in water that you would paint over wood or whatever else to just make it look better. It wasn't that you... Now, you actually did literally paint over poop, though. So here's the thing. So here's how you made medieval walls. In fact, I think Shad Diversity has like a whole video on this. So if you are like more interested, you could just check out his channel. And I think he has like a lot of stuff on this that you can just look up, you know. So what you do is you would erect a frame, and between that frame, you basically like almost make a basket. You'd have these vertical runners, and you would run a strip of wood in between it, and it's almost like making a big basket wall. And then you'd paint that with daub, and daub was made out of cow dung and mud and some other stuff like that. And so that's what you would use to... It's too wide. To make the walls, but they come out kind of brown and tan. It wouldn't look that nice, and so in between those frames, you'd put the whitewash. You'd paint it white. It was basically like chalk, like talc and chalk suspended in water, I think. And so you had to do a couple layers, but it went on really easy, and it made it nice and bright and white. So that's where you get the medieval aesthetic of like, here's the wooden cross beams and then the white walls. It's because they had wattle and daub walls, and then they would put the daub on them. They'd put the mud on them, often with cow dung, and then they would whitewash them. So in some cases, you actually were painting over poop. That's what whitewash was. It's just, instead of a pigment suspended in oil like paint, you had just, it floated in the water. It was very watery, so it wasn't quite the same as white paint. My dog is barking at me. Tom Sawyer did some whitewashing. All right, we're coming up at about 8 o'clock. So just first season of the Amazon show. Let's stop watching this stuff on Amazon, guys. You know it's not going to be good. So we should probably stop watching it. You know what I mean? Now we can draw the walls. Let's let the dog in. You get lonely out there, pups? All right. I know. Hard life being a dog. Hard life being a dog. Hard life being a dog. I know, I was a dog once. All right. So why don't we, let's get our pen tool here. What do we want to do here? Let's, you can draw like a little tower here, and then like a wall, and then a little tower, and a wall, and a little tower, and then we can actually a little tower. We could put a gate here. This. And we'll draw like the castle up there in some capacity. And so this will be a gate here, you know. And then what we can actually do, we'll grab a little bit smaller brush. In fact, I probably want to do all of this with a smaller brush. So I'm going to leave my waterways kind of where they are. Let's do another layer. We'll do it like this. Sorry if this show's boring, by the way. And we can zoom in a little bit to kind of get it a little bit easier here. We'll do a turret. And we'll go over here and we'll do a turret and a gate, and we can, with our pen, also draw a little bit of a kind of a waterway here, like a pit. And then draw the wall going here, and we'll draw a water gate here, and then we can just erase that layer later. And this circle doesn't look that good, so let's redraw that, huh? It looks like an awful oval. Let's draw a circle a little bit better. As we get a little deeper in the detail, we can do just do a square turret here, square turret here, and we'll do a couple of things like this. Yeah, sorry if this is like a boring stream. I turned the music off a while back. Should have just had like some more relaxed kind of music here. That made more sense. That's a little too big. Oops. All right. And then, yeah, going from there. And we'll come back in and like refine these details later. You're going to put a bunch of overly confident, obnoxious women from different races. Oh yeah, you know it. You're gonna put it, but they've already like come out and said they're gonna fill it full of sex. People were like praising the Wheel of Time show for like completely missing. Oh, I put the wall in a different place from where I wanted it. I just realized I brought this like too far down. Let's bring it back up. Kind of like how this was. It feels like more organic if it's just kind of going up like this. So how they had to build walls, they had to build them around whatever sort of geometry you were dealing with. And we could put a couple of round turrets here. And let's erase this one a little bit. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Adrian. Mr. Stewart, a little sad to jump on so late, but I was working on my novel. Good. I hope there will be more of these in the future I can get. God bless. God bless you too. I don't know. I just the family was out shopping for stuff for my daughter's room because we put together like a new little bed for her. So I was like, yeah, we'll hang out. And just have a little bit of fun. People are like, you should do a map drawing stream. I'm like, I imagine it'd be pretty boring because, what am I doing here? We need to put another gate. So there's a gate. Right. And here's another gate, technically, over there. Because you have to put gates because you have to get into the city somehow, right? Otherwise, there's not really any point. So we actually need like a southern gate here too. I'll put one right here. There we go. And yeah. So there's the start of our city map. This is kind of fun. Like this will look a little bit different from what we're normally doing. I'm going to hop down to this layer and draw that island. Let's pump that up to number 12. Number 12 here. There we go. There's the island. And we have a couple of little channel islands here. Very skinny kind of channel island like that. There we go. Pretty cool. Anyway, I do appreciate the super chat. The vapid bad bitch archetype. Well, I don't know. Is it different from like the shrew is the main thing. Get woke, go broke is not true. It's never been true. It's pure cope. Get woke, go broke is not true. It's not true. Okay, it's only true if you're like, oh, well, woke things don't sell well. Yes. But they can not sell well basically for eternity. There's no negative consequence for not selling well. The corporations do not, the big media corporations do not do woke things because they're trying to make money. And so losing money doesn't matter. They can leverage debt for infinity. No one who produces a bad woke movie will ever not have work in Hollywood as a result. In fact, they'll probably have more work. They'll get rewarded with additional work. You will fail your way up. If you look at comic book companies, writers will routinely fail their way to the top. And what that means is that the writer will basically have a really badly performing book and then will be rewarded with writing on a main title. So no, Get Woke, Go Broke is pure cope. It has never happened and it won't ever happen. It's basically a coping mechanism so people can believe that somehow there will be some negative consequence for somebody for producing woke entertainment when there's not, and there won't be, and that's the point. The point is that there won't be any negative consequences for anything, really. There's no negative consequences. So if you accept and you understand that there's no negative consequences, then that's going to affect how you view what you should do in a pretty profound way, in my opinion. So, yeah. Get woke, go broke is not true. Yeah. They will get as much debt as they want. Disney can leverage debt for eternity. Disney will never run out of money. Disney can leverage its debt no matter how much. There's no amount of money that Disney can lose for them to make them change what they're doing. They will change what they're doing only if leadership desires it to change for its own purposes. As long as leadership wants the woke perspective is what you are going to get. So yeah, good woke, go broke. It is just cope. So do not take it too seriously. Okay. That's just reality. The first and primary reason why you should stop watching Star Wars is because it's better for you. Not because Disney will make Star Wars better. Star Wars will never be good again. It will never be what people want it to be again. Okay? Just accept that it's gone. Okay? If you liked Star Wars, if you wanted Wheel of Time to be good, sorry, it's never going to be good, and they don't care about that. They don't care about making it good, and they don't care about making money. So get woke, go broke only works if they care about losing money, and if losing money has some sort of consequence. It doesn't. That's just it. Okay. So you should stop watching Star Wars because it's better for you, because you have better things to do with your time, because you have other things that are more important to be done in your life besides watch Star Wars, and because it will free you up to watch the things that you actually care about. Same thing with video games. If someone produces whatever woke version of Far Cry, just stop buying Far Cry games. Don't play that Far Cry game. Don't worry about it. There's no reason to play it. You are better off spending your time playing almost anything else. So you should do that. That's the thing. And it's like Ghostbusters 2016. I remember somebody in the comments trying to argue, well, there was negative consequences for this. What was it, Paul Feige or whatever his name was? I don't know. For whoever directed Ghostbusters 2016, because he didn't get a sequel. It's like if your standard is you're punished by not being given a sequel, then almost everybody fails in Hollywood. But he continues to direct movies and get paid hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars and continue to fail. He'll always be allowed to fail. His friends will always bail him out in Hollywood. So, yeah, if the negative consequence is, he didn't get to direct the next crappy sequel, it's like that's hardly a negative consequence. He didn't get run out of Hollywood for his terrible movie, which is what I guess should have happened, but didn't happen. Know what I mean? I'm not sure if we want to make these canals like 2 lines or not. I may go back and do that. I don't know. I'll experiment a lot. Probably off of stream for this. So that it's like, there you go. Now, I will say this. Get woke, go broke is only true for very small organizations that must make a profit to survive. So for small companies like, Rooster Teeth? Get woke, go broke is probably true for Rooster Teeth. It's probably true for Rooster Teeth. Because they were small enough and no one bought them. They had to make a profit to survive and they didn't do that. So for them, it was probably true. For Disney, it's not true. It's just not. People will say get woke, go broke, and then they will shill for an occasional non-woke movie, knowing that the money it makes will be used to finance more propaganda. See Phantom Menace in the newest Spider-Man movie. Yeah, Phantom Menace these guys were always like one blowjob off from coming back to the plantation. That's just how they were, man. I was like, Fandom Menace, you guys are complaining about Star Wars, and then you go and you watch The Mandalorian, and they're like, well, yeah, we're watching it very closely to see if Disney like improves what they're doing. I'm like, you're watching it. You're watching it. You know, what are you doing? You're watching it. Why are you watching it? Well, I can't just not watch Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is part of my identity. It's my religion. I can't just not watch it. It's like, you could just not watch it, but you won't, because you just don't have any other reason. You don't have anything else to do with your time. I don't know. I kind of want to make these like... Yeah, I kind of want to make these... Gotta put some in the wrong layer here. I kind of want to make these like... I want to make these like this. I think I'm going to do it here. Instead of making them just black lines, I'm going to get like a really small one here and just kind of do like this. Just kind of trace the outside. Like that. Make them white. What's wrong, pups? Nothing's bad. Let's undo that. Actually, what I should do here is like turn on the opacity, and then I can see what I'm doing really good. Just erase that stuff. There we go. Yeah, see, then I can see what I'm doing really good. This is a good idea, because I want it to have that look of like a white space where the water is. So it's really apparent where the water is. So these are the canals. You know, and I can always add a few. And this is really the river, so the river will be nice and thick black. Let's undo that. This will be like this, and we'll do the river like in a nice and a thick black line here, so that'll look good. I'll just do it like this for now. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty good. Click down here. Let's erase this little dead there. What's up, honey bun? Did everybody get home from shopping? Going out to eat? Wonder if my kids got dessert or if I get to have ice cream tonight. I started making all my own ice cream at home, and that was a good decision. It's really cheap, and it's way better than the store-bought stuff. You can get an ice cream maker for like not a lot of money. Let's undo that. That's just not as straight as I want it to be. If you want to draw them really straight, I might get like a little straight edge out here, so that they look really straight. But I kind of like them wandering little canals. I didn't like that one. There we go. All right. Oh, I see why it's shaking. This thing is touching it. Get a little lower here. Corpses blow before they burst. That's AAA gaming. Good point. Yeah. You can market via negativa, right? Like you can market via the negativity around what you're doing. That was basically how Belle Delphine made all kinds of money, if you guys even remember her. Like I feel like she's like the internet's already forgotten her and she ended up doing porn or something. She was like one of these first girls that really monetized like her own little OnlyFans kind of thing. She sold bath water, which was hilarious. They're like, who would buy this? Like people probably bought it just because they thought it was a silly thing to have. But everybody talking about how ridiculous it was just spread the message that like you could buy this bath water, and probably people bought it just as a novelty. They're like, yeah, I have some Belle Delphine bath water. Probably just thought it was like one of these weird, funny things. Like, oh, dude, you got the gamer girl bath water? That's hilarious. Yeah, if nobody was talking about it, then no one would have bought it. And there's probably other OnlyFans girls who were like selling stuff like the same thing. They just didn't get any publicity for it, so everyone just ignored it. They're like, how come I couldn't sell any gamer girl bathwater? Where's my gamer girl bathwater? Like, well, you didn't sell any because you weren't outrageous enough at the right time to get everybody to be like, I can't believe people would buy Belle Delphine's bathwater for $20 or whatever it was. And then people are like, well, we're going to get her like, she's going to get in trouble for shipping a biological product across, international waters or something. It's like, don't even, like, that doesn't even really matter. Nothing panned out from that. I do think she ended up doing porn though, which is kind of sad, like straight up porn. Didn't Belle Delphine buy a gas station with the money she made? I hope she did. Like, I hope she got something out of what she was doing. Like, I don't wish ruin upon the internet thoughts because, like, if we're being completely honest, what they're doing is really bad for them, and it's going to have, it has a lot of potential big negative consequences for the rest of their life. They may never be able to have a normal job because they did OnlyFans. If you've done pornography, like, you could find yourself in a position where you straight up cannot have a normal job. Like, it's just, you won't ever get hired. There's certain jobs you can't have, like if you've done pornography. You pretty much can't be a school teacher. Could you imagine? Like, you find about, I remember this teacher that, her students found her like pornography she did in the past, and so she lost her job. She got fired. And it wasn't like she did anything illegal. Wasn't like she didn't even do anything unethical with the students at all. She just did that when she was younger. And then what was the result? The result was she lost her job and could have lost her teaching credential, and just, that's a career she can't have. She can't be a teacher because of her choices. Like, that to me is not something to be really celebrated. It's just something that is real, and it makes me feel sorry for these young women. A lot of them are duped into doing what they're doing. They're not doing it because they, are like evil thoughts or something like that, whatever the internet wants to call them. They're not doing it for those reasons. They did it because they needed the money, or they had some kind of illusion about what it would give them at the time, and some producer of that material took advantage of them. Like, I feel sorry for the performers, and it's really hard to get out of it. There's performers that are like, I wanted to quit, but it's literally the only way I know how to make money. That's really sad to me. There's a certain class of people on the internet that are like, we want to police the thoughts because they shouldn't be able to make money just showing their body. It's like, well, there's going to be some big consequences further down the line. I'm not going to say like yay or nay about whether you should police thoughts or something like that, but just, I think a lot of women get into this without having any realization about what kind of consequence it could have on their life. When they're older. Oh no, I'm drawing all this on the wrong... Oh no, I did it on the wrong layer. See, I do this sometimes. I mess up and do it all on the wrong layer. Yep, they're home, little pups. You gonna go say hi? All right, I'll probably need to close it up here. I do appreciate the super chat. Let's erase that. There we go. Okay, honey bun. I'll let you out. All right, go on. Hey, bud.
Surrender or else I'll stab you with my fire sword.
No! I'll be out in a minute. Here, you go get Mimi and Mommy. I'll be out in a minute, baby girl. You want to come say hi? I'm streaming. You can come say hi? Yeah, you can come say hi if you want.
Bored.
You're bored. See, I'm drawing. I'm drawing. Drawing a little map.
Can I draw?
You want to draw? Let me do this to let you draw. Okay, now you draw.
What's this color?
It's black. What color do you want to paint with? Blue? Blue? You want a thicker paint? Ooh, this is pretty.
Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob.
Oh, now you're letting the cats in.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Mr. Bob, we're not supposed to sing the bunny song. Oh, thank you for pointing that out, John Bob. But this is the new and improved bunny song. This is the one we're supposed to sing.
Oh.
Oh, the bunny, the bunny. Oh, I like the bunny.
You're singing the bunny song?
I didn't need my soup or my bread, just the bunny.
All right. I'm probably going to call it here, guys. Hey, did you guys have some dessert at Red Robin? Should we have some ice cream or something?
Milkshake.
You want a milkshake? You think you deserve a milkshake?
Yeah.
You want me to make you a milkshake?
Yes, please.
What kind? Vanilla?
Yes.
Whoa, cat! All right.
Oh, I know.
All right, take it easy, guys. We will see you next time. Where's the mouse? Here, stop drawing for a minute. Thank you. Looks so beautiful. I love it. I
Do you
love it.
like green and blue?
Yeah, here's the cat. Oh my gosh, got a cat and a baby. Draw. You got green now too. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, look at all the green. All right, later, folks.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Hello, cat. Okay, then.
All right. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you next time.